Have you heard the latest? Reuters, the media organization, has come out with its own extensive investigative report detailing some of the United States' top politicians, policymakers, governors, Supreme Court justices who have direct ties to slavery, listing their direct ancestors by name. This scathing report goes into the genealogical records of those who descended from slave owners. They kick off this detailed report with none other than himself, Lindsey Graham, from the state of South Carolina, listing his direct ancestor, Joseph Maddox. Now, this is his 3 times great grandfather, and he's been on the record to say, yes, that is the original sin of the country. But this report detailed, and surprisingly to a lot of these politicians, letting them know that the surnames that you carry and the ancestors that you so beloved were slave holders and owners and traders. For those who still bear the names of the direct ancestor, we have Nancy Mace here, her direct ancestor, Drusilla Mace, great-great-great-grandmother, even tells you the name of those enslaved and how many. Again, coming from South Carolina. I think I've been pretty vocal about the fact that, yes, even the Asians were slave owners. So today, many of you may call these types Native Americans, and you'll say, oh, Native Americans own slaves. Well, here's your Native American here. A lot of Asiatic Orientals came to the United States with their wealth, and they took advantage of the slave economy. Tammy Duckworth from Illinois, direct ancestor Henry Coe. This is her great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, slaving 4 people. When she found this information, Reuters, take it upon themselves to do this investigation, but also informed them of this damning report. She said it was gut-wrenching to learn this information. Now, you know what happened in Texas. They didn't want to let their slaves go ever. They wanted to have a few more harvests before they gave up their participation in the slave economy. Texas, you're on the clock. All right, Juneteenth is now a federal holiday. You can go after Pete Sessions right here. Direct ancestor, Richard Sessions, great-great-grandfather. That ain't that long ago. That's how old these people are, by the way. And number of enslaved persons, 96 souls. Beautiful lives lost to the likes of these people. So think about that when we're doing policy making and voting. Reparations on the table, and they don't want to be directly involved with that, but I think it's time for a cure and a legal remedy. Next up, we have Tom Cotton. He is a senator from Arkansas, and as many may know, Arkansas was Indian territory as the westward expansion was happening, and great-great-great-grandfather enslaved 6 people. Shame, shame, shame. That was Indian territory. Tom Cotton, I wonder what your export was, but exploiting the labor of indigenous black people, all on the basis of skin color. Everybody is trying to get in on that slave economy, including those who descended from ancestors. That ancestor, John Dowager, Coward is what I call him. We have another senator. We're just lining up the senators here, aren't we? From New Hampshire, direct ancestor Archibald Crawford, great-great-great-great-grandfather, enslaved 10 beautiful souls and people, all on the basis of skin color. Her ancestor migrating as an immigrant to this nation, also one of the immigrants taking advantage of the slave economy. Joe Wilson. This is the man that was so outraged at former President Obama's State of the Union address that when he was quoting something, he yelled out, very tacky, low class, low etiquette. You lie. A lot of people may remember that. Well, you are lying about your involvement in slavery. Just your great-great-grandfather, Stephen H. Bonneau, probably coming in with some of those French Creole types, who knows. But the representative, another member of Congress from South Carolina, enslaved souls, 16. Shame, shame, shame. So they know this about their family members. They know exactly their family heritage. They are actually proud of their heritage. So they want to go back to these days and remember all that Make America Great Again. A lot of these daughters and sons of the Revolution and Confederacy still carry the surnames of slave owners. So slavery is not that far-fetched for someone, especially like Julia Brownlee, representative from California. And, you know, she is embarrassed by this. And so make sure, Californians, with your reparation task force, you quote exactly the types of Julia Brownlee. So we don't know much about these enslaved persons outside of when their family members died. It was listed as property, so we get some form of a name. Her great-great-grandfather, just a few back, you know, enslaved 3 beautiful souls. These people were most likely prisoners of war. It was countless warfare. So the immigrants coming in could own slaves. Here we have Mo Brooks, another representative from Congress from the state of Alabama. Direct ancestors, say their name. Thomas Ferguson, great-great-great-grandfather, enslaved 1 person. That's his family's ties to slavery. And rounding out just some of the politicians, will go into this, but we have Dick Larson, direct ancestor. John Wiggins, great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Wow, 5 times back grandfather owned slaves. And so a lot of that wealth that is accumulated so these people can run for office and make policies and codes in spite of the American population, all based on skin color. It seems like they can't give any privileges and benefits, but when it's time to criminalize and punish or to commit heinous acts of terrorism and crimes against humanity, they have no problem pointing out race. So shame on your ancestor, John Wiggins, another immigrant. All of these are immigrants taking advantage of the establishment of this slave-based economy from those who insurrected against their own monarchy. So we have 5 living U.S. presidents. 1 includes Barack Hussein Obama, 2 Supreme Court justices, 11 governors, and 100 legislators who all descend from ancestors who owned Black Americans as slaves.